Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where two bearded film fans watch the 50 best horror movies ever and then talk about them. My name is Luke Kondo with a K, and I'm joined by my regular co-hosts.
Mr. Ben Arrington.
How's it going, Ben Arrington?
Ben Arrington, Mr. I'm giving myself the Mr. bit now.
Mr. And I am Luke Kondo with a K. Get it right, that's double-barreled, and with a C.
Double.
So, how's it going, man?
Good.
You've got stuff to do later, right? You're busy tracking.
There's a little bit of football on later that I want to, and I'm off out to have a little gander at. I'm not going to watch it live. I'm going to watch it on a different screen than I usually would.
In a pub.
Which is potentially yes. This is it's an event.
Nice. Okay. What? So
very nice.
England
versus Brazil. Friendly.
Okay. Oh,
it's only friendly, mate. It's only friendly. Don't get angry about it. It's a friendly.
So let's start with some other horror stuff, other horror guff. Have you seen any cool stuff? Have you done any cool stuff other than football?
Other horror guff. I haven't done any horror. You know, we've discussed this already. I've done a bit of horror.
Done a bit of horror. I've done a horror. It sounds like when someone's like had a poo upstairs on the floor. I've done a horror.
I've done an absolute horror.
Actually, the guy who, the King of Wimbledon, he's pointing. I imagine he has that face and he says, "I've done a horror."
We might need to give this some context. We went to a comic convention in Wimbledon this weekend, and we met a man, a self-proclaimed King of Wimbledon, who wears a lot of. He's like a pearly king.
Yeah.
He wears a lot of bling, and he's in some interesting outfits. Find him on Twitter, King of Wimbledon. That might be the Twitter handle, but he's quite terrifying, and I mean that with the utmost respect for him.
I might write a fan fiction, like a horror story with the King of Wimbledon in it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Don't make him evil. He's a good guy.
No, yeah, he's a hero.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Any horror guff? I went to a 30th anniversary screening of Predator, which I guess you're going to call that's horror film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Action
that's
horror.
My favorite. That's kind of my favorite horror. That like subgenre of horror. That's dark sci-fi horror. Like Alien or.
Yeah, so I went to it was just at my local cinema, and they had like a load of props, not props that were necessarily used in the film, but props of different Predator heads and stuff.
It's a coffee machine.
They had two guys. yeah.
Mop.
They had a mop. They had a mop, and they had a coffee machine, and that was it. There was two guys dressed as very strange-looking predators. They looked like a cross between Predator and like the My Chemical Romance Black Parade album when they had those jackets.
Really?
I just didn't really know what was going on, and someone offered me the chance to have a photo of them, and I turned it down because.
Nah, I'm okay, mate.
I just went, nah. They were stood there quite lonely. They looked quite lonely.
I'm quite happy looking at this mop.
Yeah. This mop, it still works. Still sucks up stuff really good. Yeah, so I saw that.
Predator hair in the mop head.
Oh yeah, I reckon it'd do really well. Yeah, so that was cool because you got to see Predator on the big screen, full of like absolute fanboys who were like shouting along with the quotable lines. Get to the chopper, ain't got time to bleed, all that stuff. Yeah. A round of applause at the end for everybody, loving it. That made me go.
Son of a bitch! That must have gotten a chorus, right?
Yeah, I think it did. I did witness one of the strangest things I've witnessed while at cinema. There was a guy in the row in front of me. He wasn't directly in front of me. He was just offering my peripherals, and he stood up the whole time.
He must have. Well,
bad. He must have back issues, but I was confused because he didn't bother me because he wasn't in my way, but he was still in my peripherals.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, "What are you doing, man?" And he sat down a little bit, and then he stood up for the rest of the time. I thought, weird. But yeah,
strange,
it made me go and watch Predator 2 just to see if it was half as good as I remember it being, and it's not. I didn't really like it this time around. I was a bit
so now I'm kind of like dubious about watching it again if it maybe it hasn't aged that well.
It was just a bit ridiculous. So I think Predator, the original, is like almost perfect. It's just so good. It's so cheesy. It's so over the top, but it's great. You know what I mean? Whereas Predator 2 just felt cheesy and over the top, but not great. Yeah, that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I finished Stranger Things. It took me a little while. Obviously, it's been out for over 2 weeks, but I finished it.
Cool.
I finished it.
I've done an episode on that, right? Maybe an episode on next week. Yeah.
We could potentially do an episode on that if you're game.
Yeah, sure. I finished it a couple of weeks ago, so I may have to rewatch it all.
Oh, that's
no, I don't know.
Don't do that to yourself.
No. Well, I watched The Burning on Shudder. The Burning is an 80s slasher. It had a really cool poster, and that's why I watched it. Makeup effects by Tom Savini, who did the makeup effects on Day of the Dead.
Oh yeah. Is he's in From Dusk Till Dawn as well? Is that right?
Yeah, he is. He's one of the.
Yeah, he's a guy with a cock gun. and the whip.
I don't remember the cock gun and the whip. But
what? You don't remember the cock gun? He's got like a gun. With the barrel is the shaft.
Since I've used the cock gun.
The barrel is the shaft, and the balls are like two little.
No, I need to watch that again. Yeah, we need to watch that on this show. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
And also, when he uses the whip, he's actually using the whip in real life because he's. I was about to say classically trained with the whip then.
In makeup effects and whips.
And whips. He's good at makeup and whips, which is the two things you need to survive a vampire apocalypse.
Yeah. There was The Burning is a guy. It's like a camp. It's Friday the 13th. So basically, there's a camp, like a summer camp. There's some kids there. You'll recognise some of them now because they've gone on to be like in films, proper films, and that. And the guy who gets burned at the start of the film comes back to kill everyone. Doesn't really have a proper motivation other than the fact that he's like mentally, physically scarred now, and he just wants some revenge. And he's got like garden shears that he stabs them with and cuts fingers off and stuff.
That's pretty nice.
But it was pretty good. Surprisingly good actually. The actually made you care about the kids. That I wasn't expecting to like them that much before I saw them get slaughtered.
Was this like early 80s or
mid 80s, early 80s? Yeah, probably the earlier side of 80s actually. Yeah, but it was alright. It was better than I thought. The makeup effects were pretty good. High Tension. I've just finished reading Dean Koontz' Intensity book, and I mainly wanted to watch this because I've heard that this was kind of a rip-off of Intensity. And there's some people I was reading about it, and some people are like, no, it's like just follows the same sort of idea. There's a lot of films that do that, a lot of TV shows, but no, this is like beat for beat. Like the first 50 minutes are exactly the same. Like they're just different names, different language, but like the way
so different language is French.
It's French, yeah. It's like a French ultra-violent sort of. Film. I know Tommy Draper in the Facebook group really likes this film. It's also known as Switchblade Romance. And it was a good film, but like it was also a good book, and it annoyed me a bit because the guy, apparently Alexander Arhard, the director, never really admitted to the fact that he has because the way the book works is like it makes everything so intense, like the way a girl's hiding from a killer under the bed, and like there's all these like little details where she like tries to sink to make it like she's not been in there and stuff. And this film does it like every single little bit like that. So I don't know how he expected he was going to get away with it, but I don't think I told you I've never actually read any Koontz. It's all right. And this is my first time. It's all right, not too bad.
It's your first time, Koontz virginity.
It's my first
taken.
Koontz, yeah.
Ripped away from you.
Popped my Koontz, and then I watched They Live. It's on Amazon Prime at the minute, so it's just another John Carpenter classic that I just wanted to watch, and it was great. It was everything I wanted it to be. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've seen They Live. I feel very familiar with a lot of the visuals from They Live, so I'm pretty sure I've seen it. If not, I need to. Well, I need to rewatch it anyway.
There's like a
really long fight sequence, isn't there?
15 or 20 minutes, but it's one of those fight scenes where like they'll like punch each other. Like it's Roddy Piper who plays the main guy.
Yeah,
and like a bit of like a wrestling match. So like he'll punch the guy, and then it'll like choke slam or like suplex or something.
They do some moves to each other, don't they? Yeah,
like suplex them, and then the guy will be on the floor, and then Roddy Piper will get up, and then he'll catch his breath, and then you'll think it's over, and then the guy will go, and then get back up, and that'll happen like between the two so many times. Is it like
Roddy Piper's character and like his mate in it? They just have a bit of a Barney and then just have a bit of a fight.
Well, yeah. So he's trying to get his mate to wear the glasses. I think it kind of has a message. It's like people don't want to know the truth, but he kind of forces him to wear the glasses that allow him to see what's really going on in the world. What's
the famous line as well? I came here to kick ass and chew gum, and I'm all out of.
I came here to chew glass. Chew gum and kick ass.
Chew glass. I came here to chew glass, and
I'm all out chewing
bubble gum.
Found some glass though. My dad
and then a 20-minute fight sequence.
Yeah, my dad used to say that all the time, and I never knew where it was from, and I don't even know if he knows where it's from.
What, chew glass?
One of the classic dad sayings, isn't it?
Yeah. So your dad said that, and you don't think he knew it was from They Live?
Not the glass line, the other one, the bubblegum line. Yeah,
the bubblegum one.
He said that all the time. He said that like at Christmas, like we're all in the living room at Christmas morning, getting ready to unwrap the presents, and he came with a cup of tea and went, "I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, fun them all out of bubblegum." Just something he says all the time.
Is it? That's not related to Christmas? And then who's kicking ass on Christmas Day? Do you know what I mean? No one is chilling out.
It's just my dad likes to kick ass, I guess, and chew bubblegum, but he's always out of bubblegum.
I'm kicking the festive ass. I'm always out of bubblegum. Exactly. He should stock up. He should stockpile the Wrigley's.
I take some with me now.
Other chewing gums are available.
In his mouth. Airwaves.
Oh, it's like Vicks Vapor Rub. Yeah. It's like eating that. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Tangent.
Okay, so I know you've got a football game to kick ass and chew bubblegum.
Forget the football game, man.
Okay.
Forget the football game. The football game will wait. It won't.
What football game? Yeah, football games, they don't do that. Hang on a sec, guys. Ben's doing a podcast.
Wait, he's doing a podcast. That's all right.
Okay.
I'm not too bothered.
So we're doing number 20 on the list today. It's a classic. It's Psycho. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Psycho! Okay.
Psycho! In that voice for the rest of the
Luminex, Psycho! Bloody crazy. Psycho is a 1960 American psychological horror film directed and produced by Alfred Hitchcock, never heard of him. Starring Anthony Perkins.
Is that quadruple-barreled?
It sounds like it, doesn't it? I mean, get over yourself. Starring Anthony Perkins, Janet Leigh, John Gavin, Vera Miles, and was based on a 1959 novel of the same name. Did not know that. The film centers on the encounter between a secretary, Marion Crane, who ends up at a secluded motel after stealing some money from her employer, and the motel's disturbed owner-manager, Norman Bates.
Yes, so this is what the Empire film guys have to say about it. Imagine a trip to see Psycho in 1960. Its deliberately oblique marketing, fronted by Hitchcock himself, would have prepared you for a motel to feature prominently, but not much else. Well, it's called Psycho, so you're going to expect some sort of horror film. The opening, the opening 20-odd minutes must have seemed like a pretty standard noir setup, with Janet Leigh eloping with a bunch of money and the tantalising possibility of a new life that lasts precisely as long as her next trip to the shower. Then came the full-bore shock of that brutal knifing. Each stab driven home by Bernard Herrmann's jarring score, unexpected and almost entirely without precedent. Audiences must have wondered if it was Hitch himself, in the nicest possible way, was the real Psycho here.
Who's given him the nickname Hitch? I've never heard that once before.
Empire. They've got an A in film studies. They can.
You can't just call Alfred Hitchcock Hitch.
I would have gone the other side of it. Oi, cock.
Al. Oi, cock.
All right, cock.
Hey, all right, cock. Don't call me that.
97% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8.5 on IMDb. I didn't quite ask the Facebook group properly. I think I just said I was watching it, and Tommy Draper said still powerful.
He didn't mean the film. He just meant your scent.
Still powerful.
Still powerful.
I've got the what's the spray called?
Lynx Africa.
I didn't mean that, but that was good. I like that one. I like the Lynx chocolate. Anyway.
Yeah, delicious.
Edward Harvey said before shooting the last shot of The Sitter, which is his short film, he showed Noah, this little boy from his short film, who played Tommy, is the character that Noah plays in this short film that it's just made.
It's confusing things.
The still, so he showed a little kid who's in Ed's film, the still of Anthony Perkins doing a creepy smile. The kid does exactly that smile. It's very creepy. You should watch his short film. It's on the Facebook group. So, anyway, initial thoughts? Have you seen this before?
Yep. I've seen this before. Don't know how many times I've seen it. That's not important, is it? Iconic. This is one of those films, also, that despite being a 1960 film, which is not always that good for me, I think in terms of like pacing and style and sort of like the way the film's set up, it feels very modern, doesn't it? It feels it's like a very modern setup, and it feels like one of those sort of quite sort of like tightly knit thrillers that we sort of get from, I don't know, from certain directors these days. But that's obviously just because old cock is the master.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this. I think obviously one of the most iconic themes, there's quite a few themes within the score that keep repeating during different parts of this film. And I think it is pretty iconic, and some great performances. Genuinely like creepy, scary moments. I mean, I don't know how much better it would have worked in color, because I think didn't Alfred Hitchcock shoot in black and white on purpose just so it wasn't so gory?
Did he? I don't know that.
But I don't think it. I mean, you don't really see that much gore anyway. There's a couple of blood stains, a bit of blood going down the plug hole. That's about it.
That's about it. Yeah.
Dead body. Yeah, I mean, this was good. Obviously, it is a great twist as well. I mean, it is obviously one of the most well-known twists. But if you didn't know the twist, I can see how meticulously it's put together to make it look like this twist isn't coming, if that makes sense.
They were dead the whole time. It was like a Sixth Sense style. Like it would have been that shocking. Yeah,
it would have been that shocking. I don't think any new audience member in 1960 would have probably got it.
I would say
before it happened,
because we know the twist in it. I've actually found that quite effective, because I was surprised by how much I like this film. I think I've seen it once when I was like 7ish, super young, when it doesn't really make any sense. It's on in the background. But this is the first time I've actually sat down and watched it, and I really loved it. And I really liked Marion's character, and it elicits a lot of sympathy for her throughout the film, and then kills her because that's going to happen. The shower scene's coming up. I was like, oh my god, it's super tense.
It's the false protagonist thing, isn't it? Which I think isn't done very often, but when it is done, it is always memorable. It's always one of the things. So you see a character constantly in the marketing for something, and then suddenly they don't last very long in the film. I mean, just a couple of examples I can think of. Drew Barrymore in Scream, I believe she was like the big face on the poster, and she was in the opening scene. She dies within a few minutes.
Yeah.
No
Country for Old Men, I think of. What's his face? Josh Brolin. He's the main character, and he dies
he lasted a while though.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought he was the main dude.
He dies off screen.
He dies off screen. Exactly. Yeah. What the fuck happened to Josh
Brolin? Metal Gear Solid 2 on PlayStation 2, and all the advertising, all the trailers. You were Solid Snake on the oil rig. Yeah. And then bang! Suddenly, about an hour into the game, you're Raiden, and you're Raiden.
I didn't sign up to play some androgynous, blonde-haired man with a knife.
All I remember doing as Raiden was doing cartwheels naked.
Yeah.
Do you remember this moment?
Naked.
There's a moment where you do cartwheels naked.
That's a question.
When?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
I remember loving that game though. Regardless,
can we also quickly mention that there was a remake of Psycho, wasn't there?
Yeah, with Vince Vaughn.
With Vince Vaughn and Anne Hesh. Yeah, that's it.
I've not seen it. I decided not to bother.
I've just been looking at bits and bobs of it today. I mean, it looks like almost exactly the same film.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I do know it is shot for shot. There was an experiment to see if it would work, and apparently it doesn't. Apparently they decided it didn't quite work.
It's strange, isn't it? That is very strange.
It's Vince Vaughn before he was, a big comedy actor.
How many times has a film been remade, shot for shot? So it was 1998.
Yeah, I don't know how to Google that. How many times?
How many times the film? And it was directed by Gus Van Sant.
Yeah, Gus Van Sant, that's the one, yeah. Have you ever seen a Gus Van Sant film? I bet you have, but not...
Oh, yeah, I've seen, Paranoid Park, Milk.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. That's a great
Interesting. Film. Oh, My Own Private Idaho as well, that's good.
There was one
River Phoenix, Keanu Reeves.
There's one I watched with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, and they're lost in this national park, and they're walking because they're just trying to find a way out. And the shots were 25 minutes long, and there was no dialogue, and it's just them walking. And it was there to make you sort of sympathise with the situation, but my god, it was difficult to watch. It just never ended. But
what was it called?
I can't remember.
Oh, when you see you. I'm only joking. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right. You ready then? Should we delve into the story a little bit more?
Let's delve into the story of Psycho.
So, key players, we've got Anthony Perkins, who plays the infamous Norman Bates. Vera Miles plays Lila Crane. Why is she second in the billing? Janet Leigh plays Marion Crane. This is the second film in a row we've seen her in. She was in The Fog for a little bit. So Vera Miles plays the sister of Lila Crane. You know what? It's weird when you watch like old films like this, and you see people in their prime. Do you know what I mean? Like mid-20s, early 30s, and I think. And then you see that, and then you realise they're dead or something. But then you realise they're dead now, and it makes you feel like, oh my god, time.
Yeah, that
passes,
is weird.
And...
Time is a shithole. I mean, that's not a real. That's not. Time passes like grains of sand for the. Yeah, I know what you mean. When you see someone, when you see someone in their prime,
it's a shithole. Come on.
When you see someone in their prime and you look at the film, you're like, God, they're really living it here. Yeah. But then when you realise they've been dead ages, it's a bit weird to think when they were making that film. You know, the concept of death was
so much in front of them. Like, just wasn't. They weren't worried about dying.
No,
it's weird. Yeah,
it must be weird to think maybe one day we'll make something, and in 50 years after we've died, someone will watch it
and they'll feel bad.
They'll feel bad for us, and they'll say,
"Shit on Mr. Hawking."
They'll be looking at us. They'll be looking at us now, in our prime. Well, me, and they'll go, bloody heck, dead, long dead. Who would have thought Luke Condor would have died like that as well?
A day later. Who would have thought it? Obviously not him. Anyway, so who else we got? John Gavin plays Sam Loomis. He is sort of Janet Leigh's.
Bit of crumpet.
They're not adulterers because I think neither of them are married or anything, but they're doing the dirty.
Just proper non-committal, aren't they?
Non-committal, yeah. Martin Balsam plays private investigator Milton Arbogast. He's quite an interesting character with a big face.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of guys. We'll talk about them as we go through, but they're the main people that you need to know. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So. The opening credits I thought were pretty excellent by Sal Bass. Yep. You kind of see that sort of style, that Hitchcockian style, like used and taken in various sort of pastiches now, but like it's quite effective. And the music's amazing right at the start, very tense. And then we're introduced to Sam Loomis and Marion Crane. They're the two. They're sort of having off a bit. What's her name? Marion Crane. Janet Leigh's got like Tomb Raider 1 boobs, like polygon boobs. I think it's the style of the bra they have at the time. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't think it at the time, but now you've said it.
Why is the film all pixelated?
She has got Tomb Raider 1 boobs. Still got you off there, didn't it? Yeah. You're not a monster. Yeah. So they're having it off in her lunch break, aren't they? And she's even got a sandwich on the bedside table, which I was like, did she get that sandwich out to eat prior to the sex and then got distracted, or was she putting it there for an immediate take in of calories after she's?
We're going to need that later. That ham and cheese.
We're definitely going to need it.
Yeah.
Ham and cheese.
So they're talking like I think they want to. It's quite witty the way they all the dialogue's really witty. It's quite funny. It's quite light. It never felt like it was that like dark film just yet. I think it sort of leads you in like a false sense of security. This was a part of the film like I completely forgot about. Like any sort of setup in my head when I think about the film Psycho, it kind of starts at the point when she arrives at the motel. I didn't realize, completely forgot how much comes before. Yeah,
how much there is to set up.
40 minutes or something. Yeah, it goes on for a while. But I really liked all this stuff. I mean, so Marion, they kind of want to get together. They want to get married. I think there's a bit where Sam says, "Oh yeah, I've got alimony to pay. Are you going to lick my stamps that I send my alimony checks?" And then she goes, "I'll lick your stamps." And there's a lot of like weird like noir sort of wordplay like that in the start of it. Later on, Marion goes to work. I don't know what she works as a banker or something. What does she do?
You're like a secretary for somebody, like some sort of property development thing. I don't know, because I think somebody dropped off a cash payment for a property of like 40 grand.
Yeah.
And her boss asked her to deposit the money in the bank. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, can I take the rest of the afternoon off?" Like some layabouts when she's just been getting...
Yeah, she's just been getting laid, and now she's going to get laid off if she doesn't turn it around. But I don't
think she cares because she's 40 grand up.
Yeah, well, she's got one of those money headaches. You know, when you've got money, all of a sudden you kind of like, I need to go home.
I've never had one of them, Luke.
Why? What's the?
I've never had one.
Me neither. What's the issue you're having? Woman problems. I don't. She didn't say that, but she.
Oh my god.
So anyway, she goes. She basically got this. Oh, jeez, money problems. So
she goes. 40 grand. I could go and get a boob job. Sort these 2 million one boobs. Sorry, silly that is. Sorry.
Yeah. You'd be ashamed, Ben. Anyway, so the 40 grand. The idea is she's supposed to take it to the bank on the Monday morning or something. Like she's supposed to be off for the weekend, and the Monday morning she's going to put it in the bank. And
she just keeps it in like a little crappy envelope.
It's like half open as well. I don't know why the boss would like give her 40 grand and say, "You keep that for the weekend," and then put it. Like it's just tempting her.
Keep it warm.
Keep it warm, yeah.
If you had to keep 40 grand for the weekend, babysit it.
Yeah.
How long before you
elope with the money? Get married.
How long before elope with the money, or like go out and buy a lovely pair of cowboy boots?
It'd be
and a Stetson.
The time from me getting the money and me getting a lovely pair of cowboy boots would be quite short.
Yeah. Here's the money.
Prime.
Where did you get those cowboy boots
Amazon
from?
Primed later that day, 6:00 delivery.
Oh, they're one size too big. That's all right.
Yeah.
Stuff them.
So this what happens now. So yeah, she goes. I think she immediately runs away with the money. She sort of
pretty much.
So she goes home. She's got a headache, and then she's driving. She's just driving now. She's going to drive off to where Sam Loomis lives or works or something like that. Apparently, it's quite far away. And then this is the most horrific part of the film, I thought. As she's driving, she's supposed to be home ill in bed with a thermometer in her mouth and a gob. She sees a boss walking over, crossing the road, and then she waves to him. And then he looks back.
She waves to him?
Yeah, she waves. Well, she does like a nod, like "Oh hi," and then she goes, "Oh," and then the music goes bam bam bam, like it's really intense.
Bam 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 bam.
Have you ever seen? Has that ever happened to you? You've been ill and your boss has caught you?
I don't think so, but I know what you mean. Like you've called in sick, you're ill, and you're like, "Oh, quit!" Got to nip to Asda for a bit, and you get distracted in Asda. You're in the games aisle, and you're busy buying the latest Call of Duty, and you're like, "Can't wait to get home and play this." And suddenly, boss just clocks you in the line, and you go, "All right."
Yeah.
You look really healthy. You look really healthy, and you do a jig. And
I was ill when I woke up, and then I got better.
Yeah.
I got better.
Do you do ill voice if you call in sick?
No, I do kind of like tired voice, which is fairly like what my voice is like anyway. But like it's it's a little bit quieter. It's like, "Hi mate, yeah." So I'm not feeling too good today. Well, what do you do?
Hello.
I'm not feeling too good.
I'm really not feeling well today.
Who is that?
Help me.
or I get like a bit complacent with it, and I go, "Hello, all right, how you doing, mate?" And so I'm really, oh sorry.
If they ask you, say you're high on Lemsip.
Oh, I'm high on Lemsip. I've had it all. Been doing lines of it.
Snorting it. This happened to Kat. So in London, when we lived there, she worked in a cafe. She was ill. She was generally ill. And then I got her to come meet me at the park for a chill in the sun. I fell asleep on the park. And then Kat's boss...
Yeah. Did you just say, I fell asleep on the park?
Yeah. Well, it's that's what people did in London.
Fell asleep
homeless people. Bums.
Fell asleep on the park. I was led right on the park. Yeah, and what happened? Her boss came along. When he was the homeless man next to you.
And then Kat's boss came along, said, "Oh, are you feeling better?" And then she said, "Yeah." And then she went away, and then that music played, bam, 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 and it was super tense. Yeah.
Did she get told? Did she get told off?
No, I mean, what could he say, really?
You liar!
We can't prove it.
You are a liar!
You could say that, but you can't prove it.
Well, that's where it gets it. That's where you get into it. Take it to a tribunal if you want to sort it out.
Yeah. Okay. So she's driving. The boss doesn't say nothing. She falls asleep at a car at some point. She wakes up to see a policeman staring through the window, and the camera's right in his face. All this stuff happening now is like she's instantly feeling pressure and guilty. She stole all this money. So everything she sees around is making her more tense. The music is there to sort of add to that. When the policeman is asking where she comes from, what she's up to, she just doesn't want to answer his questions. Just wants to get along with it. And if she drives off, I think he says something about a license plate. So she says, "I'm going to get a new car or something." Goes to a little garage, a used car thingamajobby, first thing in the morning. And then the guy, the used car salesman, what did he say? He says "Look, this is what I say to the first customer of the day. First customer in the morning is the most trouble. I don't want no trouble."
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
It's almost like she's trying to just swap her car over, sell her car basically and get a new one. And he's like the worst salesman ever. He's like trying to make it not happen. He's like, "Really? Are you sure? You don't want to go away for a couple of days and think about it?" Yeah. Also, she gives her car over and gets a different car, but she got to pay $700. I'm like,
well, I mean,
do what?
Slightly newer, maybe. I don't know.
Do what? I would have done better to do that. Also, the police officer turns up across the road and he's staring. I'd be like, if that happened to me in real life, I'd go over to the police officer and say, "What are you looking at, mate? What are you bloody looking at? You want some, do you? Want some? What are you bloody looking at?"
Also, what is he not supposed to have a route? I'm sure policemen have places to go. They don't just follow. He's the real psycho in this film. Following her around. And then it's almost like so they all watch the used car salesman, his mechanic, and the policeman. They watch her drive off in the new car, and it's super tense music. Without the music, I don't think this film would be anywhere near as sort of tense as it is. But then at this point, you're still not sure. I mean, we know what's going to happen, but if you're watching this for the first time, you still wouldn't be sure that what they're. Yeah,
I think Mr. Hitchcock does a really good job of sort of sowing those little seeds of where everybody, you're unsure who's the psycho. If you saw this for the first time, you knew nothing about it. But who's the psycho going to be? So far, policeman probably. It could be any of these guys. Do you know what I mean? It could be anyone.
Yeah.
So you're kind of feeling that paranoia with what's her name, Marion.
And then
you're feeling that paranoia
as she's driving away, and it's pissing down with rain. It's nighttime. She's playing through. I thought it was really, really well done. She's playing through in her mind what her bosses are going to say over the next coming days, and what everyone's going to say. And she's I don't know. It's she's doing exactly what we all do when we playing out the worst scenario, and already feeling incredibly guilty about it, or incredibly sort of put out by it. And then in the rain, she comes across Bates Motel, and then we know.
Then we know.
Get real.
Bates Motel, run by Master Bates. It's kind of a little bit off the beaten track a bit. She's not on a main road or anywhere. She's a little bit out of the way, which I'm assuming she's done on purpose. Does she really give any sort of reason?
I don't know. Well, no, I guess just sort of get away from the police people a bit. Yeah. I don't know.
So there's a motel, and there's a huge sort of country house overlooking the hotel. I mean, it's very iconic, this house, isn't it? The sort of shape, and it almost a bit of a Dracula's castle type of feel.
It's got that vibe. Yeah, it's got that vibe.
It's got that vibe, mate.
What's the house in Salem's Lot called? It reminds me of.
Yeah. I know what you mean. So when she meets Norman Bates, he seems like a lovely man.
He's kind of charming, isn't he? He's kind of a really nice, pleasant guy. Yeah.
He's eating candy corn. He's just loving life. He's offering her a meal. He sort of tells her where the nearest place to eat is, a diner, but then he says he was making some dinner, so he'll sort of write out. Then he says he's having sandwiches and milk. Dipped in? I don't know. This is the initial moment I go, Psycho. Yeah. I mean, come on, Psycho.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's having sandwiches and milk. They eat together in the motel. It's not the room, is it?
it's in the parlour room. So it's where the office is.
Yeah.
There's a parlour room behind. There's like stuffed birds and stuff. And he's talking about how he likes the taxidermy stuff. But he's a really weird guy because like he's kind of charming, and I think like the performance this guy has, and because we know sort of what's going to happen here. Well, we do now watching it here, but like it's a genuine sense of dread. Like I really thought, I don't know, you kind of know what's going to happen. And the guy who's playing Norman Bates, I think Anthony Perkins was like amazing. Like his performance, like later on in the film when he's nervous about he keeps like tripping up over himself. His story and everything is so well done.
Yeah, it wasn't like a one-dimensional psychopath. I mean, I say one-dimensional, but I think usually characters like this are given two sides, aren't they? So obviously the psycho side and the nice normal side, or maybe not the normal side, maybe just whatever. But I think Norman Bates was given enough of. He felt like he had a backstory. He kind of felt like he had layers. He was a lasagna man.
He was a lasagna man. Yeah.
He had a lot of layers to him. You know, he obviously talking about his
white
his
sauce,
mother,
red sauce, pasta,
bolognese, and repeat until full.
Many layers. A lot of the layers were the same, just repeated. Yeah. But there was at least 4 of them. Anyway,
exactly.
Anyway, go on.
So he talks about his mother, who he says is mentally ill and forbids him to have a life outside of her.
Yeah, so she's like, his mum's.
Well, it's too late. He's out the womb now, so he's outside of you. Let him live, for God's sake.
Get back up, up to your room, and not upstairs. She means back in the womb.
Back in the womb. I told you, Mum. It's impossible. It's physically impossible. Keep trying.
Head at least. Anyway. So they're having a right argument. His mum is like shouting at him. It's embarrassing because he's a man, like a grown man. Anyway, so he starts to like her. I think he starts to.
Yeah, he starts to think Marion's a nice lady, but obviously his mum is shouting, going. At this point, obviously, yes, we only hear the voice of his mum from outside the house.
Yeah.
So she's shouting, and she's a nutbox, isn't she? I mean, she's like.
She's a fruitcake. Yeah. Nutcake. Just wondering how this bit comes about now. So I think he likes her. I think he said they'll wake her up in the morning, and she says, "I've got to go. I'm really tired. I'm gonna have a shower and get to bed." And then you kind of see the change in his mind. He looks a little bit sort of nervous suddenly for some reason. Looks up to the house. He goes up. Marion has a shower, and then we all know how this bit goes. Did you find this bit quite scary? Like it's effective?
Yeah, I think like I think it's like a combination of things. I think the anticipation of knowing something's coming, something bad's gonna happen. But also like that shower, the bathroom looks really like cold, almost like a abattoir or something. It just looks really cold and white and just looks like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem right. It almost feels like someone might die. Be murdered.
It's weird as well because by this point we've been with Marion's character for 45 minutes or so, 50 minutes. Like she is the main character in the film, and then just to see her sort of die, kind of like brutally. The music sort of plays, the screeching, and she sort of falls over.
Yeah, so she's having a
bum, bum.
Bam, 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 slap bass.
Slap bass sort of pops it out of nowhere, and then Noah Bass is like playing to his mum, jazzing one up. Yeah, so obviously she's having a shower, and a shadowy figure appears behind the shower curtain, and then looks like obviously an old lady's hair. That's what I mean, old lady hair. It looks like
and a little blouse, and then stabs the living bejesus. But obviously, she's stabbing her, but you don't see much.
I think he misses a lot for the first bit. Yeah, and then she's sort of holding his hand away, and then like towards the end, he sort of just catches her.
He's not a very she, the mother, not a very like efficient killer. A bit like, oh God, I'm gonna bloody get you! Oh no, God, I'm struggling a bit. Like
when we see the mum later, not the actual mum, but I think people know the twist. Like when we see Norman dressed up as the mum later, he acts kind of weird. Like it's so bizarre.
Did you just say?
Ooh.
Ruined it for everyone.
Yeah. So the next sort of 10-15 minutes is Norman sort of tidying away.
Yeah. So this was quite interesting because obviously this is the kind of thing you rarely see in any sort of film where there's been a murder or a serial killer or anything like that. You don't really get to see the moments when someone like tidies up after. So obviously we're made here to think that Norman discovers the murder, assumes his mother is responsible, and he cleans up the crime, which takes a while. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It's not like he sort of
doesn't like
quickly does it. It takes a while. It takes a while of on-screen time as well, which is strange.
It reminded me for some reason of Breaking Bad. You know, when in the first season they kill that guy.
Yeah,
he goes through the bath and like makes a mess everywhere. For some reason, it's reminded me of them because how long it takes and how much effort is involved in cleaning up after.
I couldn't be bothered, could you? Do a murder. I just go, fuck it, leave it.
So obviously
he gets. Yeah. Is this blood? He meticulous. So he cleans up the crime and then he puts Marion's corpse in the shower curtain into her car. And all of her possessions, including the money. If only he knew, we could have started a new life in the Hawaii. He puts it all in the trunk of her car.
Yeah, and then puts in I thought it was a tar pit because it's black and white. I was expecting like little dinosaur bones to sort of bubble up to the top or something. But
do you know what? I love a good tar pit.
I didn't know. Are they real? Like tar pits?
I don't know.
I've seen them in Futurama, and that's
I've seen them in Sin City. Do you remember the bit in Sin City with the tar pit and like Clive Owen ends up?
They swim out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where's a tar? If I want to go and have a look at a tar pit, where is one?
Well, I got it feeling like California, I guess, but I don't know if that's real. Like I've never actually seen.
I want to go. Let's if they're real, let's go and find a tar pit and jump in.
I feel like there's one at like Universal Studios, and like that's it. Like, but anyway, it's not actually a tar pit. It's like a swamp, but it's a very thick, dank.
Yeah. I mean, it's yuck. Yeah. So gets rid of her, and then we cut away to a little while later. What was it, like a week later?
Yeah, something like
that. And Marion's sister arrives and basically goes and finds Marion's bit of stuff, Sam. And starts questioning him to where her sister is. And
he's like, don't know, no idea. And then all of a sudden this other dude turns up. He's a private investigator, Mr. Milton Arbogast. And he's been hired by the guy whose money the 40 grand belonged to. And he's under the impression that she's taken 40 grand, come to see Sam, her boyfriend, and they were going to elope, run away or whatever with this money. But he's like, not seeing it, don't know. And then he doesn't believe it. Arbogast doesn't believe them at all at the minute. But then he goes to... How did he find a motel? He asks around. There's like a montage of him asking people.
Yeah. So he's pretty good as a private investigator, isn't he? I mean, he's good at what he does. So what does he do?
We don't hear him. We're just asking people at doors. And then he for some reason, somehow anyway, he makes his way to the Bates Motel. And this is maybe my favourite scene in the film, when he's sort of like interrogating Norman Bates, but just by asking him questions. And Norman Bates, like the performance, the way he's sort of like tripping over his own logic, he's getting like kind of nervous as he talks. Yeah. It's really naturalistic the way he does it.
Because he seems like he's sort of crafting a fairly good story.
Yeah.
But then you don't really realise that not only that he is kind of saying contradictory things.
Yeah.
He mentions a couple that came. He says no one's been there for weeks. Then he mentions a couple that came and sort of were lost. So he is kind of contradicting himself. And this private investigator is good because without trying to pin anything on him, he just kind of is unpicking his story a little bit, just making him a little bit. And again, this ramps up the tension big time because you're like, don't push him.
Yeah.
Don't push him because he is gonna maybe snap and maybe stab you.
Yeah. Really enjoyed this bit. And then, so what happens? So Norman mentions his mum, and Arbogast is like, "Oh, I want to see your mum," and then Norman's like, "No, that ain't gonna happen." And then Norman gets kind of angry at this point, and he starts to flip a little bit. And then Arbogast is like, "No, I'm gonna go." He phones Marion's sister.
Yep.
Tells her, "Look, there's this dude at the motel. She stayed there. He's weird. I think his mum spoke to Marion, so I'm going to go talk to her. And then he makes the mistake of going to the house.
Yep.
And then, yep. And then he, this is like, did this death scene remind you of anything? He falls down the stairs. So he goes up the stairs in the house, sees the old woman, and he gets attacked by a knife and pushed down the stairs.
Yeah, so he just goes to the top of the stairs and she comes out of another room. Again, this reminded me a little bit of like what Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where like the antagonist just kind of appears. Like you don't really quite see it coming, and then bang, just walks out of a doorway and attacks immediately.
It reminded me of a game, like if you like walked into someone's line of sight.
It was like a fixed camera angle, like out of Resident Evil as well. Like it was right up in the top corner of the room, and so when someone just came in and she started stabbing him, and this was a weird shot where he was kind of falling down the stairs, but it was like
it reminded me of Omen, like the way the woman falls off the stairs. I don't know what they're doing because it looks like a dolly zoom, which is where you zoom out but move the camera in at the same time, so it, like the frame sort of gets like flattened as you move it. Like, but I'm not too sure how to do that. I mean, if anyone listening knows how to do that weird zooming sort of like effect, it's really weird. I'd love to know how to do it. But
it looks quite unnatural, but also interesting. It looks a bit. It was
yeah, but it kind of works because I mean, it kind of gives the effect of someone who is falling and it's sort of time's gone a bit weird and sort of flying past. But you got like 10 minutes before you got to go for your football game. Football fantasy.
Don't worry about it. Don't put any sort of limit on this lovely chat about Psycho.
Okay, cool. Well, okay, so Arbogast is dead. I don't know what they do to that body, but I don't think we find out about that. So then the sister and Sam decide to, because Arbogast hasn't got in touch with him, and they go to where he went last, which was the house.
Yeah, well, don't they go to the local sheriff first?
They go to the local sheriff. He's like, oh yeah, Norman Bates. They said like, oh, Arbogast went to see Norman Bates' mum, and then he's like, I don't think so. The mum crapped the biscuit 10 years ago.
Crap the biscuit. She sliced the cake. She, 20, how many years ago? Quite a while ago.
She tipped the bin like a decade ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, he says. She was found deaf, dead, and...
She was found deaf, dead, and full of dread, and dumb. Yeah, well, you would be deaf if you were dead, wouldn't you? Wake up, listen to me!
With a boyfriend at the time. So apparently they buried him together or something, and Norman was distraught. But there's no mum. So then they're like, oh, that's weird, because there is a mum. So they go, wait, does the cop go to see the house then yet, or... he says no.
I think they conclude that Arbogast probably lied to them, found the 40 grand,
and has
just pissed right off. But they're still like not quite convinced, so they go to the motel, and then we see a scene where Norman is carrying his mum down the stairs. Yeah. Again, from that fixed Resident Evil camera angle, and he's carrying down the stairs, and she's like, "Bloody hell, Norman, you're a rat mug."
That's a really good impression. And then, okay, the now comes to the end. So Sam and Lila decide we're going to go down and we're going to see it myself. We're going to find out. We're going to get to the bottom of this tin of biscuits. Biscuits are in my mind for some reason.
Just crumbs at the bottom.
Yeah, just crumbs. And then they find. They rent a room. Sam corners Norman and says, "You've taken the 50 grand, haven't you? We know you like."
See, this is a bit weird because they kind of talk initially, and they're like, "We'll go in, we'll get a room as a married couple, and we'll just slowly and surely try and work out what's happening." But they just jump right in. It's like
10 minutes in. Yeah.
We'll take a while, and we'll have a little look around, and we'll do this and that. And he goes, "You're a psycho, aren't you?" Well, grabs him by the face. Oh.
I don't know if he said like. I don't think he thinks he killed it. Does he yet? Or
no, I think he just thinks that he's got the money somehow, or that knows where she's gone, or something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. So he's cornering Norman.
He's basically distracting.
Yeah. Lila is having a sneak around the house, having a little perusal. I don't know why she's looking at books. Like, there's one bit where like she's going around the house, and like if you're looking for someone's mum, or like Marion, or if she's been kidnapped or whatever, like she just starts picking up books and just starts looking through some books.
She's a keen reader. She likes literature. What can you say?
Put that
She's
to
like,
read list.
I'm looking for my missing sister. However, what's that? I've not read that one.
Yeah.
Oh, this looks good.
Well, the latest John Grisham, the latest Jack Reacher novel.
The latest Jack Reacher novel. What bothers Jack got himself into now?
And then like she's halfway
she
through
sits
reading
down
the
and
book.
reads out of it. Oh, God.
Just can't stop this page turner. And anyway, so Norman clocks on to that Sam's basically like keeping him, and then he goes, "She's not gone to see my mother, has she?" He knocks Sam out with an ornament,
a spinning elbow.
An ornament, yeah, spinning elbow, Superman punch to the noggin, and he runs up to the house. Lila sees it's coming to the house through the little window. She goes to hide in the basement, and that's where she sees Norman's mother. And there's like a single light bulb swinging, and then she turns the chair, and then we reveal the mum's just like a corpse. The
mum has seen better days. She's just she's just a corpse. Lovely teeth, but yeah. All her eyeballs have been have rotted away. She's got a lovely wig on. Yeah, she's dead.
She's quite dead. And then Lila screams, knocks the lamp, the light, and it's like the light's going crazy. So it's very, very disturbing. And then Norman runs in, full in his mother's wig and knife, and he's like coming to kill her. It's kind of scary the way that it works here. So he's coming to kill Lila with a knife.
Yeah.
Sam,
and he's acting like a kid, all hyped up on like sugar and stuff. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna have you."
Well, like so Sam like grabs him from behind to stop him, and he has this kind of like weird freak out moment. It looks like how I look like when I'm eating Brussels sprouts. Because I always say don't put sprouts on my Christmas dinner, and they always manage to put one on there, and I eat it.
and you don't realise that they're on there until you pick it up and eat it. You're like, what's this? Like a tiny cabbage? Oh no! You got me again. The 25th year in a row. Curses.
So that he just falls down.
He has a freak out where he's like pulling out. He's going out, and he's coming out of his clothes.
Yeah, it's like gurning and stuff. Like he's had a spot of coke.
I think they're just struggling, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, so then cuts to black, and then like we've got like the denouement part of the film where Norman's in prison, and there's like loads of people talking about. This is a weird part of the film, I thought, when a guy.
It was almost like the guy just explains everything.
Just walks out really calmly. Well, you see, and he like talks about how it's like all the exposition that we didn't need that much of, but and it's quite. I mean, it's a nice little monologue, I guess, but it was just strange.
Well, turns out he was a transvestite, and
something like that, doesn't it?
So yes,
he does say something like that.
He says. So in one part of his mind, he is Norman Bates, and the other part of his mind, because he killed his mum and her boyfriend. I think he got jealous of him or something. And then because he couldn't deal with the guilt of the fact that he killed his own mum, his personality splits two. So one half is mum, the other half is Norman, and then one of the cops goes, "Tranny, then he's a bloody tranny," and then
it's bloody tranny then. Oh, it's bloody mental, is he?
He just goes.
I know.
So basically,
he's psycho, and then it like cuts to him.
Psycho.
It's a good coping mechanism for him to
I do it all the time. If I kill a spider, I can't deal with it. So just a little bit of personality splits off. And then if you catch me in the right moment,
flies
on the ceiling.
Flies.
Are you alright out there, Luke?
Swing
Psycho.
So
the only way to tempt you down is with a sprout. Down here, then.
So then it ends with so he says something like when Norman becomes attracted to a girl, the other part of personality comes out because she becomes jealous of Norman being attracted to another girl. It's really weird. But then it ends with like this most amazing sort of like little thing of Norman when he is 100% his mum now, isn't he? So he's no longer Norman Bates. He's full on Mummy Bates, and
Mummy Bates.
And then it just sort of ends with him smiling, saying, "Don't say anything, and they'll never figure out that you're not really Mum, whatever her name is." And then I think he just decides he's not going to. I think he just goes like catatonic at the end, smiling. It's really weird.
Yeah, and then a little fly lands on his hand, and in Mama Bates's voice says, "I'm not even going to swat that fly because I wouldn't hurt a fly."
Yeah.
And then he just gives it the look of.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
That's a really great ending, actually. That final shot. Okay, so some trivia.
So I'll have a bit of trivia, mate. Yes, please.
Okay, number 1. Until her death, Janet Leigh continued to receive strange and sometimes threatening calls detailing what they would like to do to Marion Crane. True or false?
From who?
People. Creepos.
People. How'd he get her number?
I don't know.
Directory.
What do they call it in America?
Yellow pages. I don't know. True. Yes. Why not?
True. One letter she said was so grotesque that she passed it along to the FBI. To the agents, visited Leigh and told her the culprits had been located and they were never heard from again.
I told you not to send that letter to her, but you said. In fact, I think your exact words were, "Is this grotesque enough?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Probably not."
Polygon boobies.
I love polygon boobies.
Okay, number 2. Hitchcock was so impressed with Herman's composition for the shower scene that he nearly doubled Bernard Herrmann's salary. Note the language, nearly doubled, which means he went to do it and then went no.
wait, like he nearly doubled it, or he added some more to it and it was nearly double.
Okay, well, true or false first, and then we'll.
Yeah, true.
Well, apparently true. It's on Wikipedia. Yeah, it says it just says at the shower scene that he nearly doubled Herman's salary. So it doesn't make sense. If he went well, cut you so nearly double get what you for, or he went if this is so good, I'm gonna, and he goes, what are you gonna do? Nah, it's good though.
I'm gonna double your salad portion. I'm going to double your salad portion.
Extra croutons for Herman.
Why? I'm full up already. I'm all full up on
salad.
I had a Kinder Egg earlier.
Yeah. Okay, so number 3. You ready? On set.
Yes. Wasn't it yes or no? Yes.
On set, Alfred Hitchcock would always refer to Anthony Perkins as Master Bates. True or false?
I want it to be true more than I think is true. I'm going to let my heart overrule my head. True.
True. Apparently.
What?
Yeah.
Is it?
So number 4.
Cock and masturbates.
Yeah.
Together at last.
So number 4. Similarly, Hitchcock. So we'd always get people to call Anthony Perkins masturbates. Hitchcock would always refer to himself as the pork pie sex machine and threatened to shower scene anyone who refused. I'll shower scene you so fast. That's what he used to say to people.
You'll be shower scene so hard, your shoes will fly out. I don't think... I want that to be true, but I'm going to let my head overwhelm my heart and say false. Pork pie sex machine. It was a sausage roll sex machine. That was the truth, wasn't it?
That's the one, yeah. Number 5. The film has been rated and re-rated over the years from PG to PG-13 to PG-15 to a 5 out of 10 to a B-, and finally to a whopping 5 dicks up in Hitchcockian Cocks magazine, the porn magazine for fans of the cock, both itchy and hitchy.
5 dicks up in the Hitchcockian what? That's the highest score.
If you like cocks, if you like Hitchcock, then you'll love new Hitchcockian Cocks magazine.
Hitchcockian Cocks magazine, true.
It's for fans of the cock, both itchy and hitchy. Okay, so number 6, because I couldn't finish.
Was it true or not?
Oh, sorry, no, no, it really wasn't. Number 6, because I couldn't really end on that bollocks. Number 6, Anthony Perkins was paid for the film $40,000, the same amount of money that Marion embezzled.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that would be a nice little nugget, wouldn't it? Nice little factoid.
Tasty nuggets.
True.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I thought I can't end on the Hitchcock and Cox magazine. I've got to put something actually quite interested in there. But
that is interesting.
I think you got all of them right. You are.
Of course I did, mate. Of course I did. I don't know if I did, but of course I did.
You've earned the title of Cockmaster. So
I'd rather be known as Pork Pie Sex Machine.
And that.
If that's all right. If that's all right with you.
Yeah. I'll call you that from now on, sure. Anyway, just please don't shower soon me. Okay, ready? So we need to rate the film. I'll let you take the reins.
Let me take the reins. It's iconic, isn't it? This film, it's iconic. I think as we're slamming into the top 20, we're going to be meeting these iconic films and enjoying them and realizing why they're iconic. For a film that of this era that I probably would.
Yeah, this is
more.
Off the cliff for you, right? Generally, a film like this age, yeah. Yeah,
I think so. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. I thought the performances were great. I think direction was great. Looked good. I felt that even though it was a plot I was incredibly familiar with, knew exactly where it's going, really, I still felt invested in it. B+.
Okay, cool. So I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I think you're right. I'm a bit worried that the next 20 films are all going to be so good. There's not going to be that much variation in the grades. Because, just by going by this one, I just really fucking loved it. And I really want to start watching more Hitchcock films now.
Hopefully we'll see some films that are good, but we hate.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know. Or maybe one of us. At least as long as one of us does.
Yeah.
Probably me.
But this is one of the few films on the list that we've watched. I'm surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I think Let the Right One In, It's Gonna Live In, if you've not seen it before. I just really liked watching those films. And it surprised me. What about, have you had any of those yet? Where you thought, I think I know what I'll feel like going into this film, but it's whoa, that's actually pretty great.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure. I can't think of one. I can't remember exactly what I graded Suspiria, but I think a few weeks after watching that, it stuck with me a lot more than I thought it was going to.
Have you listened to the soundtrack?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've listened to the soundtrack. Goblin
Gobbles.
Goblin.
Okay, so my grade, I'm going to give this an A-. I thought it was amazing. Really, really fucking good.
You always got to go one more than me, ain't you?
Not always. But most of the
time. Not always, but most of the time. There's an Excel spreadsheet that we can refer to.
Yeah, we need to update that, I think. Okay, so the next week we will be talking either about Stranger Things Season 2, which might be a nice little venture, or the next on the list will be American Werewolf in London. So we'll see how we get on. Yeah. So this show is brought to you by Hawk and Cleaver. Head over to hawkandcleaver.com. Become a patron over at patreon.com/Hawk and Cleaver. Thanks to Kovacs Cameron for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star review in iTunes, and remember to hit subscribe. Thanks to my co-host Ben for being a real horror dude.
Thank you, Luke, for also being a real horror dude, pork pie sex machine.
All right.
All right. If that's what you want. All right, Ben. Okay.
I've done a horror.
Silly boy. I've done a horror.
Okay.
I'm about to do a horror.
I was going to go pork pie one off. Bye.